I'm going to showcase what the user study an example of what the user study would have looked like using these 8 sembots pictured here and this user interface. This usually, it would have been a tablet. I don't have the access to that at the moment, but the interface is the same. Initially, the robots would be moved to their starting position, and in the first measure, users were instructed to only they could play any melody, but just not to use all the robots for the first measure. So, for example, and as you can see, whenever the robots were played, they would change their face color, and if you look at the red one, well, actually that one over there, it would shake whenever it was played. And then they also had the ability to play here as well on the screen. And after they were done, they would say they wanted to move to the next measure, which is this button. Robots that were played will move and play, but the ones that did not, they would turn red and would constantly shake. And they were told not to, they had the ability to interrupt the robots and to play whatever they wanted, but for the second measure, they were just told not to do so. So then but they were allowed to move the robots to the next measure. Upon doing so, the robots would return to their starting positions. And some of them would notice that the robots that were not played, they would look red, and they also have a sad face, and they would be agitated. And then they would notice that if they chose to, they could play them. So, for example, and as soon as it was played, it would turn back to green. And if they go on to the next measure, also I would actually be wandering around to fix problems like this. But let's say, for example, the robot right in front, if I wanted it to play, it would acknowledge my hit, and then eventually it would rejoin the robots that are playing. Let me just adjust something right now. Alright, I had to fix that wheel on that robot, and I would do that sort of thing whenever a problem would present itself. The robots would play for a maximum of 2 minutes, but the user could always indicate by pressing this button that he wanted the robots to end their turn. The robots would return to their starting positions. And this is currently measure 5. It's not 5 of 8. But let's keep writing something. So now I'm using everything. Except for that one. Whenever I hit it, it would turn to face the user, and then it will join. And sometimes that robot in particular would get stuck, and I'll give it a shove. Let's keep moving on. This is the last measure that the human would write. It should also be noted that the other robots that aren't moving right now, their faces have turned yellow because they were satisfied, so it's a 3-step happiness level. I'm going to activate everything. I'm going to end it, and what they have now is they don't have the option to go to the next measure. Instead, they have play composition. So what this means is the robots are going to be continually playing the piece that we just created from the beginning, and they're going to be looping it. I have the users listen to the whole piece for at least one time, and they can listen to it as long as they want to, and then they indicate that they stop. And then that'll conclude the piece. And sometimes certain robots misbehave, like this. There we go. And that basically concludes everything. And this robot is misbehaving. It always does that. And so does that one. But this one especially. Anyway, that's it.